Hey YouTube, coming at you a viewer submitted team in the Ultra from, I think it says Jack Ivor or Jack Ivor. Galarian, Weezing, GUZZLORD, Shadow Machamp. And they write, I played off and on since GBL started. I've never made Legend, but I've made Vet. This team went 10-2, and I have 9 battles featured here. I spent 2 elite TMs on Machamp, so yes, it is quite expensive team. However, it's really strong in the open meta. Don't be afraid to be brutally honest. Hope you enjoy. So thanks for the submission. Yeah, so we have Galarian Weezing, which I just covered in my video maybe yesterday, with the GUZZLORD and Machamp. So GUZZLORD also got boosted because I mentioned Galarian Weezing got boosted with the Brutal Swing, and so did GUZZLORD. And Machamp, obviously, with that new move, Karate Chop and Stone Edge. So, not new move, Stone Edge, but new Karate Chop that got boosted. I don't know if it's new, but Karate Chop got boosted, and now a lot of people are running the Legacy Stone Edge because Rock Slide got nerfed. So that is what I'm trying to say very poorly. Let's look at some battles. Double weak to, same sort of concept as the other team. You're double weak to Fairy in the back. So we just saw a double dark team weak to Fairy in the back, and now we got a double one dark, one fighter weak to Fairy in the back. So come in Cress, going to get off the Brutal Swing. And here's where you're, again, already kind of tricky, right? Cress has Moonblast, and you got 3 Pokemon weak to Moonblast. So going to stay in here immediately, just spamming these Brutal Swings. They're going to chip, and again, you're just more worried about the Moonblast on double super effective on GUZZLORD, single on Machamp. So you... Oh, and it has Moonblast, so it's not right. So this is... I didn't even think about that. Yeah, very, very smart to stay in here because you are Poison, and Poison resists the Fairy, and the Poison resists the Grass. So you don't even need to shield this. If they're just running... If I was supposed to say, when they threw the first Moonblast, I assume they would not have... Future Sight, so they're just kind of stuck with only resisted moves here. So they probably have Grass, not Moonblast, so just they're going straight resisting Moonblast. Psycho Cut is super effective, but you are able to farm down and just keep switch. Drapion comes in, just throwing this. Obviously you throw the Play Rough because Brutal Swing is resisted, Play Rough is neutral. You do get to play off now. I don't know if you just got nervous the first time, worried about being taken out. But land the play rough. Yeah, you can kind of go either way. Obviously with Machamp, Karate Chop is quicker, but they would have had to throw their poison move on you if they have it, because Aqua Tail and Crunch is resisted. Get onto a Malamar, which is a nice matchup. However, they will have superpower. I expect them just to go back to back here because your Machamp's already pretty low, so it'd be weird to bait here. Okay. It'd be weird to bait there. Now they're going to go superpower, but at this point, the damage is sort of done. Gonna get off a Brutal Swing here. They shield, and then they get into Drapion, and you can just commit to the farm down here. Again, at best, they're going to have Sludge Bomb, and a Sludge Bomb is not going to take out a, like, 60% GUZZLORD. And it is a Sludge Bomb. That's fine. Just commit to the farm down, have a move coming out. Yeah. This matchup is over. Galarian Weezing into Steelix. Okay. Tough matchup. Where do you go from here? So, staying in to take the resisted Dragon Tails, which is not a bad idea. See, the only... I know what you're trying to do. This is why I think the other person ran Overheat to give you coverage for Steels, because Steels was already tough. I know you have Machamp, so it's not the same team. The problem is, you know, you're double weak to a Psychic, so you got a Psychic Fangs here. You got Machamp, which would be an answer, but they probably have an answer to Machamp, and GUZZLORD would take super effective from the Dragon Tails. So you are going to come into it with the Machamp. They're not getting out. They may just try and get a Psychic Fangs off first because that is super effective and lowers your defense. Can't quite take them out, and they don't have an immediate answer. So the problem is Cross Chop will not take out, but a Hydro Cannon will definitely take you out. So they can live this, and then they can get to a move here before you get to move. Yeah, you're going to just outpace because it only takes 4 to get to a Cross Chop. So it's not a bad idea just to, like, shield and get a move off and force their energy / shields. And now you can, if you want, shield. My only concern is, does the Steelix have a Psychic Fangs? Ooh, And if they don't, just getting a second Pokemon weak to fighting here. Able to get the cross chop off. This is the strength of just the spamminess and of Karate Chop with the hard hittingness. Who I think you try and just sacrifice Weezing. Yeah, having a move is even better. But yeah, I think you kind of had to just sacrifice Weezing, force them to throw an Earthquake, because an Icicle Spear is not going to take out from this range, so they have to throw the Earthquake to take you out. And by that point, you can just Dragon Tail down here. Now, they're already very low here. Yes, they're going to lower your defense, or... yeah, they're going to lower your defense with Psychic Fangs. But they're already so low. Yeah, I was supposed to say, they're already way too low, so it does not matter what really happens here. Okay, so you have to stay in this matchup. Fairy Wind is resisted. Again, if they have only Swift and Moonblast, you're in a great situation because Swift is garbage. So getting off this Play Rough here does over 50%. Fairy Wind is resisted. They eventually try and bank some energy. Yeah, so you can see your hesitation, and I get it, because you're like, what do I do here? Machamp is going to be useless. So chipping and then getting into Guzzlord just to secure the victory is fine. Obviously, I would have rather taken Resisted Incinerates on my Guzzlord as opposed to taking Neutral on the... because now you just kind of took like the worst of both. So that's the situation. Let me just stop it here and explain the two options you have and why I don't mind this one, but I would rather just go straight Guzzlord. So you have a Talonflame come in against your Weezing. Fairy Wind on your end is resisted, so you were kind of hesitating, what do I do here? So you did a few more resisted Fairy Winds and then got a Brutal Swing. Brutal Swing is good because if you get off a Brutal Swing and then get out into your Guzzlord after chipping, it makes it a much easier matchup just to like, because you chipped and then you're having the Dragon Tail Brutal Swing on your Guzzlord, should be able to easily keep the switch, which you kind of need. At the same time, Incinerate is resisted by Guzzlord, and it is not resisted by Weezing. So what you essentially did was you stayed in, you throw a resisted fast move, you let them get a neutral fire move off on Weezing, and then you eventually came in and took the neutral fly on Guzzlord. So you kind of took the worst of both worlds there. So I get why you kind of stayed in to throw a Brutal Swing to chip just to ensure you keep switch, but I don't know if I love just taking those extra Incinerates. I think you just kind of make that switch to Guzzlord ASAP, take those resisted Incinerates. Your Dragon Tails and Brutal Swings will outpace this thing anyways, even with the Incinerates. So again, you're able to keep switch anyways. You did jump energy, and you may catch them off guard. You're not going to get to the move. Yeah, if you can see, I know you were close, but if you can't get to the move, you got to just throw the resisted Brutal Swing, because that would chip to like the red, as opposed to now where you're kind of in like the weird spot here. What did you get an attack fall for? Just going Brutal Swing here. Again, this is non-step, so the only thing is Brutal Swing on Weezing versus Guzzlord. Guzzlord gets the extra 20% same type attack bonus. Getting off a second Brutal Swing, not enough to take out. At this point, you just let it go, and then Shadow Machamp won't care about the Fairy Winds, but it will be able to take out with the Karate Chops here. And getting ahead on energy is pretty nice when you got probably a weakness in the back if you're a balanced team, and you are. Wow, they charge really fast. Could it be a Hydro already after that? Or is it just a Night Slash? Yeah, I felt like that was pretty fast. This will be super effective. And you already had 2 moves. Karate Chop is only a 2-turn move, so, I mean, it takes out anyways, so... But if they have to get another energy, 1 more Karate Chop and then a Cross Chop. 2 versus 3 turn fast move there. Ampharos. Make the quick switch into Guzzlord where you're now taking resisted Thunder Punches. That was quick, so that's not a Focus Blast, so we don't really care about any move because Trailblaze, Thunder Punch, and Brutal Swing are all resisted. So not really worried about any moves here if they didn't farm up. So yes, they boosted their attack with Trailblaze, and here comes a second resisted move. And you'll get chipped in the long run, but overall, very easy keep switch here. And if they are not expecting this, they are likely to unshield a Dragon Claw, so this will hit and do a good chip here. You do get farmed down, and they could have a Stone Edge. No, it looks like they reset on a Raikou. Raikou's pretty glossy. Some of these legendaries like this are pretty glossy, so just chipping with Brutal Swing I don't hate here. Now the only concern is that if they can back-to-back Wild Charge here and then you have to burn 2 shields. Clearly you know the counts, or you're just banking on it being a couple volt switches. Going for the double shield here to come out with a lot of energy. Hoping that, because they're at a double kick, at least one. Which would, I was going to say take you out, but it may not. You may live with a couple HP. Leaf Blade, ooh. So it's not double kick. It's Sacred Sword is the charge move, and Leaf Blade is much harder. So the fact that you lived is great. You could have just thrown Brutal Swing because this thing is, but if it has double kick and Leaf Blade, it's not like it matters because everything is resisted. I keep saying double kick, Sacred Sword. If they had the charge move, Sacred Sword and Leaf Blade, everything's resisted. Going for the farm down, I don't know why. Just throw the charge move, take them out. Okay, Giratina, good lead. They switch into Feraligatr, and again, you are just doing this chip, and then I'll get into a Pokemon. Obviously, Guzzlord resists the Claw. Going with the Machamp, which is kind of interesting. I get it in theory because it's only 4 to a Cross Chop, and you've already chipped it a bunch. So between the Karate Chop and Cross Chop, you should be able to still outpace. That being said, Shadow Claw and Hydro Cannon are resisted on the Guzzlord. I know they could potentially bait you with Ice, like, because if they have Ice Beam, potentially bait you, but it looks like you got to start burning shields here, or you're just going to be almost taken out anyways. And again, fighting for a switch. They may fight for a switch being like, oh, I can... Ooh, good catch. And going straight here into Weezing just because Dragon Claw would be super effective against Guzzlord. Might as well just take resisted moves. Ancient Power. Going for the stab Play Rough instead of the non-stab Brutal Swing. So I think that's probably correct. Not enough to take down though. And at this point you just try to commit to the farm down here. Because it is so low. I mean, I hate to burn energy, and I think you can outpace them. And they come back in for Alligator, but you got some energy here. The 50-second timer, right? People can jump around a lot more now than they've been able to. Both got to the move, but you both have 1 HP, so obviously just let this go. And then come in Guzzlord. The only thing is, okay, I guess they're super weak to Guzzlord because both of those Pokemon would have had problems with Guzzlord anyways, and they didn't even show you their last Pokemon. Okay, Machamp is staying in against a Fairy Poison, which is a decision to be made. Could have Stone Edge, but that would still only do like 40% from a non-shadow. And going Cross Chop. What is happening here? So they just sacrifice Machamp and then come into Steel, and then you immediately... I was going to say immediately switch, but you kind of can't because you had a Guzzlord in the back, which is weak to counter, and Dragon Tail is resisted. So you kind of just need to stay in here. I mean, counter's resisted on the Poison and the Fairy, so I don't know. I know they have Drill Run, but your Fairy one's resisted. You have to just go non-stab Brutal Swings. And so they'll take this, but to align it with Machamp, I guess makes sense because you don't really want to align. And now you two will just be out. I would just like commit to the shield. I think that's basically just farm down range for both, like double shielding and farming down. So I think you shield. Yeah, I don't mind this. Just don't throw a charge move on either. Just shield here. Dragon. Okay, so going to throw a charge move. I guess they do have more health than I expected. So going to grab both shields back here. And then it's... But I still think you could just Dragon Tail down from this range, and then I'm going to snipe here before they get to a move. I don't think a Drill Run takes out from this range. See, I still think it's just fast move damage range anyways. Yeah, when they're that low, I think you just commit to the fast move down anyways. So I think that's probably the way I would do it in the next time, as opposed to just like double throwing there. So for Alligator and Guzzlord, going to shield, worried about the Ice Beam. Crunch, not even a Hydro, and out comes a Muck, and Muck resists unfortunately both the Brutal Swing and the Sludge Bomb, so missing Dragon Claw on this one, but we'll just go one and keep throwing these. I guess you can get just looking at the team Guzzlord with Sludge Bomb. The only reason you really run Guzzlord with Sludge Bomb is if you're using it as the safe swap to try and draw out a fairy and then surprise the fairy and then Machamp roams free sort of thing. That is my guess for Sludge Bomb. I think Brutal Swing, Dragon Claw is probably the preferred move set, but not bringing that move set, moving double weak to fairy in the back. So I think you're trying to draw out a fairy with Guzzlord and then Sludge Bomb it. Brutal Swing grabs a shield and then they catch on a Drapion. So nice catch. Gonna bring the Guzzlord back on it. And again, you have no moves. There's a double poison team. Every move is resist. No, Sludge Bomb's not. Never mind. Sludge Bomb's not going to go in here. You should outpace to the move here. But just instead of and you're gonna take the move. It's just a crunch. Okay. I was surprised you let them even get a move off. I'm surprised you didn't just throw and take them out. But now with back-to-back moves and a move here, just loaded with energy all over the place, you will be able to take this matchup here. My back is tight. These chairs that I sit on all day for work at home are not comfy / work chairs. Okay, Licky. I am surprised you're staying immediately anyways and going play rough. You know, you have Shadow Ball in the back here. Sorry, you have Guzzlord, which will resist Shadow Ball in the back. You got two things weak to Fairy in the back, so you have to try and draw out. You're now burning a shield on the Shadow Ball. I'm surprised you're staying in. You're leaving yourself very vulnerable in the back, and you've already burned a shield on Weezing, which is generally tanky when Shadow Machamp is in the back, very glassy. Why? You're going to have to explain in the comments about this matchup, because right now I'm wondering what the heck you're doing. Because I don't like anything that's happening here. Okay. So get off the play rough, but you're now going to lose this. It's a Licky, so it only has one weakness in fighting. So I'm guessing it probably has an answer to Fighter in the back here. And if it's a Fairy, you're in trouble. Okay, Giratina is an answer. They're going to chip you with Dragon Claw. Maybe force you to throw a move first or get out immediately here. Let's see what they decide to do. They are going to get a second Dragon Claw off. I wonder if they just... Yeah, try and catch something there. That's what I would try and do as well. One and catch. They chipped you enough, and they know that the Giratina can probably just take the rest of Machamp out. So they, I think, smartly chipped you a ton and now get into a matchup there. But now the switch timer is up. Sludge Bomb would hurt, and you've already burned one shield. And again, it's just a crunch. But why aren't they going like Aqua Tail at least, which is neutral, as opposed to resisted crunch? You take it out with Cross Chop, have a Stone Edge, and here's just the spamminess of Machamp here. Oof. Yeah, they couldn't shield because, you know, full Dragon in the back there with the full Dark Dragon, but ouch. Okay, Giratina. So you're staying in, they're staying in. Getting to the play rough. This will put it in the yellow, I think. Yep, pretty deep yellow at that. So they are farming up a bunch. What is happening? Unless they want to go back-to-back Shadow Snake, or unless they have Shadow Force. I was about to say, Giratinas, there's no reason for Giratinas to farm that much unless they're probably running Shadow Force. Because otherwise there's like no reason to farm that much. Come in Empoleon, which looks like it was running Waterfall. I saw the water animation. So Waterfall does add up. They shielded up one move already. Probably going to let this one go. spamming these brutal swings. Are they just going to try and commit to the waterfall down here? They are, but not. Again, brutal swing got buff nerfed. So they lowered the damage, but they also lowered the energy. And it's a net buff on this thing. So now they're loaded with energy, but they see a GUZZLORD here. So it's a non-stab drill peck at best. And they get into their own Machamp, which now has an energy advantage, but no shields left. So at this point, you just shield. Try and take this out before. I think they'll live and get to another move here and probably take you low enough too. Okay, they do not get to the move. Are they just admitting defeat? Because now they have a... Okay. They're going to dump a drill peck here, but then be out of energy, and then your GUZZLORD should be able to take this with Brutal Swing. And the Dragon Tails are enough. Water's resisted, so non-stop drill peck is not going to add up quick enough here. So you'll take it out as soon as the game allows you to. Okay, so this is the second Galarian Weezing in a row. This one running Brutal Swing play rough as opposed to Brutal Swing, as opposed to play rough and with instead of Brutal Swing and Overheat. I understand it because you get the Stab Fairy on it. You do leave yourself a little vulnerable. I guess with Brutal Swing, you give yourself some steel coverage on Weezing, although it's not an amazing move to have coverage with. Shadow Machamp with the Stone Edge there obviously is a great move. You can also argue that if you want to run Payback, I mean, I wouldn't run this team comp because that'd be a lot of Dark. But you can run Payback on Machamp as opposed to Stone Edge in the Ultra League, but clearly Stone Edge works. It's a hard-hitting move, especially the Shadow bonus on top of it. And then GUZZLORD, again, I don't think there's a reason to run... The reason you're running Sludge Bomb is to try and catch fairies off guard. And again, this is like an ABB style team where you're trying to draw out a fairy, so it makes sense why you ran Sludge Bomb, to try and draw out that fairy and then surprise it. I don't know if it's the move I would run. But, you know, if you want to try and catch Pokemon off guard with moves that are not the suggested move, it's not a bad idea. So anyways, that is it. Thanks for the submission. Thanks for watching all. And I will see you guys in the next one.